Primary research is the collection and collection of original data. It involves direct contact with potential or existing customers. The advantages of primary research are that it is up to date and relevant to the business undertaking it. It is usually planned and carried out by the people who want to use the data. It is first-hand. It is the most effective when it is used to gather information which will help the business, for example, to test the market to see if a new product would be likely to succeed. It is not available to other businesses unless they undertake their own research. Possible limitations. The possible limitations are that it can be expensive, for example, individually interviewing many people, and that it is not available immediately, it takes time to collect. Well, the process of primary research are the number of stages a business will go through to undertake primary research. The first one is what is the purpose of the market research. 2 is decide on the most suitable method. 3 is decide on the size of sample needed and who is going to be asked. 4 is carry out the research. 5, collect the data, analyze the results. And 6 is produce a report of the findings. There are various types of primary research methods. For example, questionnaires. That is the basis of most primary research. Many ways of conducting them, like through phone, face-to-face, by post, or on the internet. Researchers need to decide who to ask, what questions to ask, and which type of questions they are going to ask, yes or no, or open questions. The advantages of questionnaires are that there are detailed qualitative information can be gathered about the product or service. Customer opinions about the product or service can be obtained. They can be carried out online to encourage people, and the last advantage is that it is useful to encourage people to fill in the questionnaire. Vouchers can be offered or participants entered in.
Questionnaires also have some disadvantages, like if some questions are not well thought out, the answers to them will not be very accurate. Like it may mislead the business. Like for example, it is thought that product is liked by consumers, but the respondents of the questionnaires were only saying that they thought the product was attractive, but they would not actually buy it. Another disadvantage of questionnaires are that carrying out questionnaires can take a lot of time and also can take a lot of money, and this may be bad for the business because time and money are two important things, two very important things. Collecting and analyzing the results is also time consuming. This is also a disadvantage. Well, another method of primary research are online service. Online service can be carried out on specialized websites using any internet connected device, including mobile phones. So you can use your mobile phone, your tablet, your computer, like all your internet connected devices. Well, researchers can design their own survey and post this on their website. The researcher then will email people to ask them to go to the website and complete the questionnaire. Well, there are some advantages of online service. Like for example, they are very fast. They have a quicker response time than other forms of service. So they're very fast and they save time for the business. They are also cheaper than interviews or postal questionnaires. They are easy to complete for the participant, so um, the people that are responding to this service will not get bored, and they can easily send the answers. Um, and also, data collected can be quickly presented and analyzed using IT tools. Well, online service also have disadvantages, like the absence of interviewer to explain open-ended questions or to ask follow-up questions to gain more detailed information. So, well, there's not someone that can answer some doubts that the people that are answering the questions may have. Um, it also has another disadvantage, that is they cannot reach potential respondents who do not have access to the internet. So these only people that have access to the internet can answer this service, because this service are answered online. Also, scope for fraud, because some people will just answer an online service to gain any incentives being offered and not give honest answers, or maybe they complete the survey carelessly. Another method of primary research are interviews. When interviews are used, there is an interviewer, so the person that is asking the questions, and also an interviewee, that is the person that answers these questions that are asked, and the interviewer will have already prepared questions for the interviewee. Well, the advantages of interviews are that the interviewer is able to explain any questions that the interview does not understand. Um, if the interviewee has some doubts, the interviewer can help the interview. Unlike the online service, that if the person that is answering the questions has a doubt, this doubt can't be responded. Another advantage is that detailed information can be gathered about what the interview is like and dislike about the product. The disadvantages of interviews are, like, an example is whether consciously or unconsciously the interviewer could lead the interview into answering in a certain way, resulting in inaccurate results due to interviewer bias. And also that interviews are very time consuming to carry out, and therefore they are often an expensive way of gathering information. So they take a lot of time and take a lot of time of the business, and this time can be used in other things. But, well, the last method of primary research are focus groups. This is where groups of people, these focus groups, agree to provide information through a group discussion with a researcher present. So, this group of people discuss, and this researcher is there observing and taking notes and seeing what they discuss. The group might discuss a specific product or their reaction to an advertising campaign, for example. This helps the business make future marketing decisions. Groups may also test new products and then discuss what they think of them, explaining what they like and what they dislike about them. So, the focus group has some advantages, like they provide detailed information about consumers' tastes and preferences. It has interaction between members of the group that can help the business understand the reason for people's opinions, and it's also quicker and cheaper than individual interviews. The focus group also have some disadvantages. They can be time consuming and expensive if conducted by a specialist market research agency. So, these focus groups can also take a lot of time but if they are conducted by a specialist market research agency. A discussion could be biased if some people on the panel are influenced by opinions of others, and can be dominated by just a few people, so the researcher will need to be experienced to deal with this.
Well, now I'm going to explain secondary research. Secondary research is the use of information that has already been collected and is available for use by others. Now I'm going to start mentioning some advantages and disadvantages. I'm going to start by an advantage that says that while the data collection is already being aided by others compared to the primary research, so that is more a cheaper way. Also, another advantage is that secondary research can help finding out the size of the market by finding out also the age of the structure and the size of the population. Well, now let's move on with some disadvantages. First of all, the data can be out of date because they have been collected maybe years ago, and because of that, also the data cannot be relevant because it's been collected with no need of business in mind as it has been collected many years ago.
There are internal and external sources. The internal sources obtain its info from the private part of the business, which includes sales data. Many info is available from the business' own records from the sales department that holds data of the best sold products and the area in which they have been sold, while the external sources obtain its info from the outside of the business, which includes government statistics or independent research. Government statistics are detailed sources of general information, while independent research means that you create your own research and make an extra effort. External sources include newspapers, which are useful info, trade association, which provides info for the businesses in that industry, market research agencies, which are special agencies that carry out research, and online resources, which provide an easily accessible source with a lot of information.